Peace and blessings. WUCUSU to the WUCUSU tribe. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we are supposed to be, I guess, making up for the broadcast last month that we were not able to do. Last month when we did that broadcast, our brother did not show up. I think he had some emergencies or what have you. So I talked about at that time, I believe my workshops that are coming up. So if the same thing happens again, it's going to be all good, family. You know, one thing about community organizing, it teaches you keep your head up, don't bemoan, don't gripe, don't complain, keep it moving, right? Always have a plan B, C, D, and E. So if that happens again tonight, I'm going to be talking about something, a pep up, get your spirits up during some times that seem to be dismal. Oh, there's our brother. So let me just say this before we bring our good brother in. Before we begin, I want to be clear. Our conversations that we have on this broadcast as relates to anything health-wise, and I have to do this, family, because of the litigious society that we're in. I want to be clear that this is intended for educational and informational purposes only. You obviously have to make choices with your doctors or whoever you consort for your health stuff on how you're going to move in terms of your physical health. This is not to be used to say that, oh, we listened to you and we did this. No, we're not doing that here. This brother here is more than qualified, by the way, based on what I'm hearing and seeing about him. But if you want all these diagnoses and you want to go to your doctor, right? Make sure that you're covered in that way. And what you might want to do is use the information Brother Heru is going to give us and go challenge the medical staff, challenge them about, I want to see my labs. I want to know what my blood sugar is. I want to know, all those type of things. Go in there armed with information, and then you make your own decisions as an adult. That's how we're going to do this. So everyone's body and health situations are different. Make sure you do what you have to do as a responsible adult and make your own choices. That's what I want to say, and that's very important. With that said, before I even bring the brother in, I want to say, this brother is crisscrossing all over the country, and I believe even in parts of the world, doing a very important work. I believe there's several lanes in the liberation movement. Several, not one. We need orators, we need writers, yes. We need community organizers and teachers and all those things, engineers. But we also need people who heal, family. Let's keep it real. Because if your body is racked with pain every day, if you can't get up, get out, and get something and do the things you need to do, then being a doctor, lawyer, engineer, all that doesn't mean anything, right? So we need the healers, and the brother's doing a wonderful job as a healer, and he does several other things as well, I might add, that we'll get to maybe in other episodes, so you know that he's not this one-dimensional brother. But with that said, I want to bring our good brother on. Brother Heru, how you be, brother?
I'm on top of the world. How are you?
Excellent, man.
You can hear me good?
Yes. Thank you. I can hear you pretty well, and there's no echo. You hear any echo?
No, man, you sound fine. I'm going to see if I can plug in this other mic so that there's
Right,
no...
but you sound good. There's no echo.
Okay.
Everything's good.
All right, let me see if this might work better. Let me see.
I see that this particular broadcast has been, the post has been circulated a lot. I think that the particular topic we have, Brother Heru, about autoimmune diseases must resonate with a lot of people. I've seen people been posting and sharing, and so hopefully we'll get a lot of people on. But you know how we do, good brother. If we don't, we're going to do the work regardless.
Absolutely.
We're not doing this for numbers, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
But, brother, before we begin, man, how are you doing? How's your week been?
I'm on top of the world, man. I can't complain.
Good.
It's been great. It's been a great week in the financial markets and charts. So one of the things I do outside of health is I'm a professional. I'm a professional trader with Forex, stock options, and a couple other things. So I had a great week, man. So I can't complain. Also, some of my mango tree, I have a mango orchard, so the mangoes are flowering right now.
Right now.
Some of them are already setting fruit. So
That's
I'm
what's up,
having a
man.
great time, man.
That's beautiful. And by the way, that's trader with a D, not traitor with a
Yes,
T.
exactly,
Our brother is no
exactly.
sellout. We want to be real clear on that. All right.
Yeah,
So let's jump into it, brother Heru.
yeah,
Uh, from your experience working with your various clients,
yeah.
how do you explain this whole? I've heard this all my life. Never quite knew what it was. I know self-explanatory what immune is, and I know if it's an immune disease that is attacking the immune system. But how do you explain autoimmune disease in plain language to your clients?
Right. So, most people who see me with their autoimmune diseases have already seen medical doctors and what have you. So, I refer to myself as an illness reversal engineer,
Mm.
in IRE. You know, it's a phrase that I coined because I'm really just focused on the results of reversing people's illnesses, whereas the medical system is more focused on maintaining your illness and just helping you manage the illness. And they'll tell you have this for the rest of your life, so you have to take these pharmaceutical medications for the rest of your life, which makes you a lifetime customer. So uh, my modality is so that you don't have to be a customer for the
Mm.
pharmaceuticals and that you learn how to heal yourself. That's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I focus on the engineering of illness reversal. And so I use a first principles approach to health. And that first principles approach is understanding what the main underlying causes of illnesses are. And the majority, I'd say probably 95 to 98% of illnesses that are not congenital. Congenital meaning you were born with this because you might have some type of gene mutation or what have you. But outside of that, all of the illnesses that you would say are the top illnesses that kill people, which would be heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune illnesses, respiratory illnesses. All of these are based on first principles thinking of toxic inputs or not enough nutritive inputs. That's what it boils down to. So the toxic inputs would be the food that you're eating that's causing inflammatory responses throughout your body. Uh, Also, foods that you may be eating that's causing you to get some type of infections through the food, parasitic infections or what have you. And then not having enough nutrients that your body requires, particularly for your immune system. And those two main nutrients for the immune system is vitamin D and magnesium, right? And there's a couple other things. You would add zinc and selenium to it, but really the most uh, deficiencies are seen with vitamin D and magnesium. So we correct for that at Herbal Results. And then we also deal with the problem of inflammation, which is pretty much the underlying cause of these diseases biologically, physiologically. And this inflammation is coming from the food that people is eating in the form of sugar, processed foods, refined carbohydrates, so forth and so on. We cut that out of your diet, have you eat a diet that is a non-inflammatory diet, which we call a ketogenic diet, which is focused on getting your body back to where it's supposed to be without every time that you're eating, without your body going into an inflammatory state. So when we find out that most of these diseases are inflammatory based diseases, because most diseases end with the word itis, right? Itis is just a Latin term meaning inflammation. So we solve for that by starving your body of inflammation, keeping inflammatory foods away from you, and then taking anti-inflammatory herbs, and then giving you the nutrients that your body needs because you're not getting it from the food because most of the topsoil is depleted in terms of nutrients. Usually you'd get your magnesium and your zinc and your selenium from the soil rich foods, which would be, you know, whether it's coming from fruit trees or it's coming from vegetables, that those nutrients come from the soil and then imbue themselves into the vegetables and the fruits itself. That's missing. So you have to supplement if you're going to give your body what it needs. Now, when it comes to autoimmune conditions and autoimmune diseases, what the medical establishment is saying is that your immune system is attacking you. That's what I'm sure you've heard that, right, brother?
I've absolutely heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you look at the phrase or the word autoimmune, auto just means self. So when they say an autoimmune disease, they're talking about the self attacking of your immune system attacking yourself. But here's some problems with the approach to dealing with autoimmune diseases. And so let's be very specific. The major autoimmune diseases that people will come to me with, and that most people are familiar with, is lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and then the thyroid-based autoimmune diseases, which would be hyperthyroidism, which is Graves' disease, and then hypothyroidism, which is Hashimoto's disease. And then you might get Crohn's disease, which is a digestive problem. You get some type of problems with maybe your digestion, absorption of nutrients. So you get like Crohn's disease, but before that, you would get irritable bowel syndrome, which is called IBS. You might get colitis. See, that's an itis again, where your colon is inflamed. That colitis is just inflammation of the colon. And so what they're saying to you when you have an autoimmune disease, they're saying that your immune system, something's wrong with your immune system. So that gives you a clue. So now let me give you, based on what I said in the last 5 minutes, I pretty much, if someone's listening closely, you can look at how you can piece together a solution. So you've got a situation where the immune system is attacking the body, but you've also got a situation where most people are deficient in the main things that the immune system needs, which is vitamin D and magnesium. So that means that anyone who comes to me with an autoimmune disease, the first thing that I say to them is, what's your vitamin D levels? That's the first thing. And many of them don't know because they've never been checked. See, it seems to me that if you've got some impairment or some malfunctioning of your immune system, the first thing you would do is check the main nutrient for the immune system to see if the person is deficient. It's a $40 test. And most people who have autoimmune diseases, you ask them, what's your vitamin D numbers? They can't tell you, which means that their medical professionals who are helping them have done a piss poor job of explaining to them what's going on, or even trying to attack the problem. Because what is the point of someone having low vitamin D in an autoimmune disease, then you're giving them drugs? You're not solving the root cause of the problem. This person is deficient in the main thing that gets the immune system to work. Now, let's deal with what the immune system is. The immune system is your innate defense system. And it is based on memory. So your immune system takes pictures. And these pictures, it has a photographic memory of all diseases that your ancestors went through for thousands of years. And so when it recognizes diseases, it's able to form antibodies against the diseases and hold them at bay. But when it cannot recognize it, or the immune system is now suffering from what I would call immune system Alzheimer's or immune system dementia, because remember, it has to deal with a photographic memory. So imagine if the memory of your immune system is impaired because it's not getting enough nutrients. Well, now your immune system can't recognize any of these pathogens and it can't respond to it properly. So typically what happens is the immune system will try to attack the invader, but then it'll end up attacking your tissues. So wherever it attacks your tissues, they say you have an autoimmune disease, right? So if it's attacking your nervous system, they might call it multiple sclerosis, right? If it's attacking your colon and your digestive system, they might call it Crohn's disease. If your immune system is attacking your joints, they call it rheumatoid arthritis. It's attacking your lungs and your joints too, they might call it lupus. Do you see where we're going with this? So I'm using a first principles approach to say, hey, the first thing we want to do is we want to find out, are there any toxic inputs? And what is your nutrient profile for the things that are necessary for your immune system? And here's what we find out. When someone gets autoimmune disease, the medical system, guess what they do? They give you drugs to shut down your immune system. Ah, you didn't know that. So
How
they
do
give you
justify that.
Oh, because the immune system is attacking you, so let's shut it down. But guess what the problem is? You have no immune system now. And they shut it down with the drugs called corticosteroids. Corticosteroids stop the inflammatory process naturally that the immune system does to protect you from foreign invaders. And so the thinking is if we shut down your immune system that's attacking you, they'll no longer be able to attack you. But the problem is now you are subject to all types of opportunistic infections. That's why a lot of people with autoimmune diseases, when they usually get sick because their immune system is literally put on pause. This makes no sense, right? But this is the way that they're dealing with it. When your immune system is not that the immune system is overactive, is that the immune system is not properly fed, so it's not able to act the way that it needs to act. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I'll probably give you two examples. First example, a sister contacted me a couple months ago. She emailed me and said, Heru, she went to my website, herbalresults.net, looked at it, liked it, contacted me, and said, Heru, I've been, diagnosed with thyroid problems, and I'm told that I have Hashimoto's disease, right? Which is an autoimmune disease, it just means that you have low production of thyroid hormones. That low production will then give you the name hypo. Anything that's low is called hypo. Anything that's high is called hyper, right? So if you have hypothyroidism, that means you have a low level of thyroid hormone production. Hyper means it's too much. Hyper is called Graves' disease. Hypo is called Hashimoto's disease. Okay. First thing I asked her was, hey, what's your vitamin D levels? And of course, she said, I don't know. The moment she said, I don't know, I knew that the medical establishment had failed her. So I said, go get your vitamin D levels and come back to me. My brother, she went and got her vitamin D test the next day. The day after, she got back to me and she said, my vitamin D level is 2. Okay. That may not mean much to people, but let me break down the vitamin D numbers. According to the medical establishment, the healthy range for vitamin D is anywhere from 30 to 100 nanograms per milliliter for vitamin D. And then they'll say like the really healthy is 50 to 100. Okay. So this is important for people to know. So like, if you're not listening to anything else, listen to this part of what I'm about to say. Most Black folks, and vitamin D is generally gotten through the sun, right? So what happens is that the sun hits your skin, and then the sun will convert cholesterol. This is very important. It converts cholesterol for fuel, to vitamin D. So the sun hits your skin interacts with whatever cholesterol you have in your body, and then it converts to vitamin D. This vitamin D then becomes a nutrient for your immune system. Now, most Black folks that I know, and based on studies, have vitamin D levels below 30. Okay? It means that most
melanin or something? Or?
Yeah, because we have melanin, and so we need more time in the sun to process vitamin D. Because the melanin is a protective layer for sun. We're tropical people. Whereas leucoderm people, which is people without melanin, that we refer to as Europeans, but scientifically you just would call them leucoderm people, and we would be melanoderm people. And that's coming out of Cheikh Diop's work, by the way, right? The leucoderm people don't require as much time in the sun. And this is actually an evolutionary mechanism because they don't get a lot of sun in the regions where they habitate. That's the European region. So during the winter time, there's almost no sun, right? There's only a few hours of sun. It's very cold, so people are not outside. So for them to be able to survive, they had to actually have what you would call a survival of the fittest situation, where the lighter skinned people would survive in cold environments. because they didn't have to be out in the sun as long to be able to process as much vitamin D. Whereas Black folks, when we're in these environments, we end up getting the first disease that happens to you with low vitamin D is collapse of bone structure. And because vitamin D also generates calcium, right? So calcium is now missing from your bones, and you end up with a disease called rickets. You might have heard of rickets. And that's why a lot of babies and children, when they are vitamin D deficient and they get rickets, they grow up to be bow-legged because their legs never had the proper calcium. So the legs became very malleable in terms of the bone structure. So it wasn't standing up straight, it would bend. So vitamin D from sunlight is missing from a lot of people's lives, particularly tropical people who've moved to non-tropical environments or have been transplanted to non-tropical environments. You know, people can talk everything they want to talk about, whether we Black or African or whatever we want to talk. The reality is that we're tropical people and we're melanoderm people, and we require the sun. And without the sun, we end up getting very sick because we need more exposure to sunlight to process the same amount of vitamin D than a leucoderm person. So without this, so now the problem also is what happens if you're taking statin drugs, which is cholesterol lowering drugs. Well, you're going to be deficient in vitamin D because you need cholesterol to convert the sunlight to vitamin D. This is why these statin drugs are so dangerous. But we could talk about that later. We're just talking about autoimmune diseases. So the sister had 2. Her level was 2. So the medical establishment says that the normal level is between 30 and 100. And when it comes to fighting diseases, they would say 50 to 100 is the levels that you want to be. Well, first of all, that's too low, but we're going to get into that. Most Black folks in America are usually under 20. She was 2. So if she has a 2, that literally means she has no immune system, pretty much. No operating immune system. And she would say she was sick all the time. Yeah, you're sick all the time. You can't fight off any type of opportunistic infections. And this is very important. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the winter months of December, January, and February are the 3 months of the highest rates of death of all causes. And they call it flu season, but it's not that it's flu season, it's low vitamin D season for everybody. So what happens is that during those months, people get the sickest. Their immune system cannot fight off any of these problems, and that's when most people die. You can actually look at it and you'll see the records for all causes, mortality. It increases dramatically during the winter months. It's because it's low vitamin D season. People don't understand how important vitamin D is. This is why that's why I made it a point to manufacture vitamin D for my company. I want to make sure, and we make a vegan vitamin D, and it's very strong. And I test it.
Oh, so you sell it at Herbal Results on the website?
Yeah, we manufacture and sell it. Yeah, we make our own vitamin D. So, so here's the deal. I contact the sister. I tell her, listen, 2 is unacceptable, and your doctors never even told you that. They're just going to pump you with drugs and never address the fact that your immune system is literally emaciated. You have an emaciated immune system. You could just imagine, like, think about your immune system if it was a person. If it's a 2, you're basically emaciated. Your immune system has no fuel, has no sustenance. It can't function. So she ends up getting Hashimoto's disease. Okay? So we're able to solve the problem by stepping up her vitamin D and giving her high dose vitamin D. Now, what do you need to be aware of when you take high dose? And what do we mean by high dose vitamin D? Because I'm not a person who likes to speak in vague terms. I want to give people precise information and they can look it up themselves and then they can solve their own problems. So here's what it means. The medical system would have told you that the recommended dosage for vitamin D is 200 IUs per day And then at times they'll step it up to 2,000 IUs if you're already deficient. But these numbers are actually to prevent rickets. It's not for your immune system. So you need less vitamin D for your bone strength than you do for your immune system. So the studies that they did for vitamin D, it was for preventing rickets. So they've given that recommendation of 200 to 2,000 to everyone for the issue of rickets, but not for the issue of diseases in general. It's very important to know.
Well, how much, I'm curious, you raises the question, and so how much are you saying is necessary to deal with the autoimmune?
And I'm about to get to it. But that's the logical question that you would ask. But it's important to know the framework that you're dealing with and why your doctors are not solving this problem. So the doctors are trained that in medical school, they are trained to cut you off at a blood level of 100 nanograms per milliliter. So whenever your vitamin D test shows that you have over 100, they will tell you to stop taking vitamin D or don't be out in the sun as much. The reason why they do that is because they're trained that over 100, you can suffer from vitamin D toxicity. But then you ask them, what is the physiological mechanism or the result of vitamin D toxicity? I'd say about 80% of doctors don't know. They're just repeating what they've been told. The 20% who do know will tell you you could end up with a thing called hypercalcemia. Hypercalcemia simply means too much calcium. Because remember, one of the byproducts of vitamin D is actually calcium. If you want to build up your bones, you don't take calcium tablets because calcium tablets don't absorb in the body. They'll just come out through your urine. They won't absorb. All that Centrum, all that stuff doesn't absorb in the body. If you want to boost your calcium levels, you take vitamin D. But here's what happens. The vitamin D that causes the calcium to increase in the blood, that calcium needs a place to go. And vitamin D alone, high dose vitamin D alone, will saturate your blood with high levels of calcium. Sometimes that calcium can end up in your kidneys where you will get kidney stones. That calcium ends up in your arteries. You get atherosclerosis, right? You get like basically blockage in the arteries. This is actually extremely rare, where they didn't even find it with people with vitamin D levels of 300, but it can exist. But the way that you solve this problem is adding vitamin K2 to vitamin D3. Why do you add K2? Because K2 is a vitamin that transports. It's a transporter vitamin. It transports calcium from the blood directly to the bones. So because of vitamin K2, there is no risk of hypercalcemia. And I've proven this over and over again. I'll give you an example. There's a sister who has cancer, kidney cancer, and she went hard. She took vitamin D and she just went hard. She goes to get her vitamin D levels tested. Her levels is 380. Remember, they want to cut you off at 100. So when they saw 380, of course, her doctors are like, oh, that's vitamin D toxicity. Stop taking vitamin D. The interesting thing is that when you looked at her full blood panel, guess what? Her calcium levels were normal. Her blood calcium levels were normal. You know why? Because she was taking vitamin D3 plus K2. The K2 took the calcium from the blood and put it exactly where it belonged, into the bones. So even though her vitamin D level was 300 and higher, her calcium levels were normal. So there was no risk or sign of hypercalcemia because she was taking vitamin K2 along with the D3. So her doctors couldn't say anything. Right?
Brother Heru, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
To your knowledge, do the doctors, when they go through their training, do they learn the stuff, some of the stuff you're talking about?
No. No, they do not. And like they don't, because so for instance, there's one doctor who follows me on Facebook. She's real cool. She's actually come to some of my cancer. She came to one of my cancer eradication lectures over a decade ago. On cannabis and cancer, cannabis oil reversing cancer. And I was doing, a lecture on the research on cannabis and reversing cancer. And she came, she was taking copious notes. So this is someone who's intellectually curious. She's not one of these people who she got her degree, now she knows everything, right? These are the type of people I like to talk to, people who have a lifetime status of being a student. Like, I'm trying to learn something new every day. And so I'm never going to be arrogant enough to say I know everything. I'm looking at who has better results than me and what I can learn for the benefit of the people. So one time I'd made a post about vitamin D and the levels that, and the dosages that people should take. And we're going to get to that. And she wrote me on Facebook and she said, yeah, but you should tell them not to take so much or else they'll get vitamin D toxicity. And I explained to her the fallacy of that. And I explained to her that vitamin K2 prevents hypercalcemia because that's the toxicity that they're referring to. And was able to show her some information. And she wrote me back and said, what she said was, this is such great information. I was told in medical school that anything above 100 is dangerous. And now you show me the information that's the wrong information. And now I'm going to readjust this for my own practice. Right? This is someone who's intellectually curious and intellectually honest and is not ego driven. See, when you attach ego to information, it's a dangerous thing. Nothing will change a person's mind because their ego is attached to this information. But if they actually care about the outcome and the results more than their ego, then they're actually happy to be wrong, to be proven wrong, because now they can adjust what they're doing for the benefit of other people. These are the type of people we want to deal with, right? So, no, they're not trained. So that answers your question. They're not trained on any of this information. And the thing is like, this information is out there. This is the information age. It's all out there. And I'll go over some things with you to show you, because I like to give evidence for what I'm talking about, right? I don't like to just talk, but I like to give people evidence and they can go ahead and do further research. So anyway, we found out that through research, the magic number actually is 150 for vitamin D level, not 100. Something very, very interesting happens when people's blood level hits 150 of vitamin D. And this was seen by Dr. Harold Schell. He's a doctor out of Germany. He has a book on vitamin D, glaucoma, and autoimmune diseases. And what he did was he took all of his patients with autoimmune diseases such as lupus, multiple sclerosis, and glaucoma, which is not classified as an autoimmune disease, but he took them as well. And he got their blood level of vitamin D to 150. Guess what happened when he got their levels to 150? All the disease is spontaneously reversed. And as a matter of fact, it would be appropriate now at this time for me to share a book. So I have this book that you all can look at, and this is Dr. Harold Schell. And everyone can just look at the book, man, and it's very instructive as to how people can move with vitamin D. And like, I sell a very potent dosage of vitamin D, and the bottle that I sell is like $30. So can you imagine you can solve your problem for like $30 and you're not being told about this? Because the doctors are told that 100 is the shutoff. And what we know is that the pharmaceutical companies are aware of this. And so what would you say is going on, my brother, based on what you know on the history of these people? What you would have to conclude is that they're purposefully trying to keep you below 100. Because if everyone was to get to 150, you wouldn't need these people anymore. Because you'd be able to solve your own problems. So this is the book. I'm going to share it to all of your viewers and listeners, because I like to give people receipts. So this is the book right here. Let's get to it. This is it right here. It's in Google Books. Let me know if you're able to see this. Can you see this?
I'm gonna put it to the stage now.
Let me know when it's on the stage.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. This is the book. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Do you see it? Vitamin D3, the alternative to previous therapy of glaucoma, revolutionized the newest findings, cancer prophylaxis therapy, general medicine, ophthalmology, wear contact. Well, in this book, this is the guy, Dr. Harold Shell. That's the book. And this is the cover of the book. This is what it looks like. Okay. And so in the book, he talks about his patients and what they did. And that when he got them to 150, these problems reversed. I also have studies on cancer and vitamin D3, where a woman who had, what type of cancer did she have? She had, I forget the type of cancer that she had, but it was stage 4. And she was told to take 5,000 IUs of vitamin D, and she misread it. And she took 50,000 IUs of vitamin D. And guess what happened? Her cancer got arrested. She mistakenly took 50,000. And I have it in my book, by the way. It's a, it's something that I have in my book. We cover the story, but her vitamin D numbers got to 150. And that was enough to stop the growth of her cancer. And it's in my book. I could pull it up probably at a later point, but the point is that the magic number is indeed 150. So we want to get everyone to the vitamin D level of 150. And when you take vitamin D with K2, you also want to take magnesium, because vitamin D depletes magnesium. So you want to fortify yourself with magnesium at the same time, right? And the magnesium that we promote is magnesium glycinate. That is the best form of magnesium that's bioavailable. And we also add zinc, and we also add selenium, because these are things the immune system needs. And so that's what's on our website. That woman was actually pancreatic cancer, which is the most dangerous form of cancer. And there's a reason for that, because the pancreas controls the blood sugar, and cancer feeds off of sugar. So when you get cancer in the pancreas, it tends to metastasize very quickly, because that's the area where sugar is controlled. But anyway, her cancer was completely arrested when she got her vitamin D levels up. Now, what does this mean for autoimmune diseases? Autoimmune diseases, most of these autoimmune diseases that we've found are actually caused by parasitic infections. All right. And here's how we can prove it. And anyone who has lupus or rheumatoid arthritis can confirm this. Do you know one of the main medications that's given to people with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis? Are you aware?
I'm not aware.
Okay. It's a drug called hydroxychloroquine. Okay. What is hydroxychloroquine? Hydroxychloroquine was a big debate and controversial during the pandemic. If you remember, you were told, don't take hydroxychloroquine, because they found studies that hydroxychloroquine actually reverses COVID. And what happened was that because they wanted people to take the shots, hydroxychloroquine was vilified. And up until that point, before 2021, before the pandemic, or 2020, hydroxychloroquine is on the World Health Organization's list of most safe and essential drugs. Hydroxychloroquine is an anti-parasitic that is used for malaria in Africa. It kills parasites, particularly protozoa form of parasites, which is like single cell organism parasites. And these parasites are killed very well with chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine developed as a corollary to chloroquine because chloroquine had some side effects, some bigger side effects than hydroxychloroquine. So hydroxychloroquine across the world, outside of America, is actually something you can get over the counter, like Tylenol. In most of the world, in Africa, we know hydroxychloroquine very well. We use it for malaria. So then the question is, why is an anti-parasitic drug being prescribed to people with autoimmune diseases? Right? And the reason is that the autoimmune diseases have something to do with parasites. And this was proven by a doctor, a pathologist called Dr. Alan McDonald. Heru, how can you prove it? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all some of the work of Dr. Alan McDonald, so that you all can just look it up. And then once you look it up and you see what I'm talking about, you could do further research and help solve your own problems. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show you some things that people can reference, because I mean, I could speak about this for 8 hours long, but I want to, I want to make this, short and sweet for people. So what you want to do is you can literally just go to YouTube, and then you can go to put in Dr. Alan McDonald, and you put in parasites or autoimmune diseases, and you'll be surprised what you find. What you'll find is, you'll find a lecture that he did in 2016, where he says multiple sclerosis is a parasitosis. And so let me share this with you all. And remember, this is not Heru saying it. I'm just looking at the research that actually exists that's being ignored. So here we go. This is one of the lectures here. You can share it with do you all see the title? Alan McDonald, multiple sclerosis is a parasitosis. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
So in this, he talks about when he would take the cerebral spinal fluid of his patients who had multiple sclerosis. Let's share this tab right here. Do you all see it right here? You see multiple sclerosis as a parasitosis? Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So people should watch this lecture, because what he found was that when he took the cerebral spinal fluid of all of his multiple sclerosis patients, when he looked in the microscope, he was able to see parasites in all of the cerebral spinal fluid of multiple sclerosis patients. And these parasites are letting off a bacteria. And this bacteria is, in fact, what is being responsible for affecting the nervous system. What they will tell you is that multiple sclerosis is a disease where your immune system is attacking your nervous system. But what's really happening is that your immune system, because your immune system is trying to fight foreign invaders, your immune system is actually attacking your nervous system because it's trying to attack the parasites in the nervous system. But the immune system is not primed enough with enough vitamin D or magnesium or the fuel that it needs. So in essence, it's missing. So it's attacking the tissue, because the parasites tend to be burrowed within tissue or in fluid. So the immune system is trying, through your white blood cells, trying to actually attack the parasites, but it's attacking the tissue. But what they find is that when your immune system gets enough vitamin D, and you actually do a parasite cleanse to get rid of the parasites, and the immune system can activate itself properly, it no longer misses. So imagine that you are, like, let's just say a bow and arrow shooter or a marksman or like a sniper. And just imagine if you had bad vision, right? And let's just say that, like, one of the nutrients that they say for vision is like vitamin A, right? So imagine that you're deficient in vitamin A and your vision is blurry and you're supposed to hit a target. What's going to happen? You're not going to hit that target right on, but you'll hit maybe around it. Maybe you'll hit around that target, until you correct your vision. Then you can hit the target. See, vitamin D corrects the vision of the immune system. A lot of people haven't heard this before. So there's a doctor out of Brazil who developed a therapy for autoimmune illnesses. His name is Dr. Coimbra, and it's called the Coimbra Protocol. Guess what he does? He simply puts people on high dose vitamin D, and it reverses their autoimmune illnesses. Let me give you some examples of where you can look for Dr. Coimbra's protocol. It's just high dose vitamin D with K2, and anyone can just look it up. And you can just go to YouTube and just put, here, I'll show you what I did recently. So anyone can look at it. You go to YouTube. Okay, you're able to see the screen. So, oh no, you're not able to see the screen yet. So I'm going to share the screen that I'm looking at again, and I want you all to see this. So you can just do a quick YouTube search. So rheumatoid arthritis, lupus people are taking hydroxychloroquine as an antiparasitic, but they're not getting their problem solved because at the same time they're being told to take corticosteroids, which weaken the immune system. So you're taking antiparasitic, but you haven't changed your diet. You're still eating sugar, which is feeding the parasites. And your immune system, your vitamin D levels like at 2, like the sister. So you don't get a full solution. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
So here, when you go on YouTube, just put in Coimbra, Coimbra protocol for autoimmune disease. And look what you find. Coimbra protocol, initial dose of vitamin D for multiple sclerosis. Dr. Brandon Baber, the #1 best nutrient for autoimmune conditions. He's talking about vitamin D. Okay, and he talks about you see vitamin D there? That's Dr. Berg. Vitamin D therapy in practice, treating autoimmune disease with the Coimbra protocol. Why haven't you all heard about this? Vitamin D therapy explained by Dr. Cicero Coimbra, benefits, uses, and protocols. Okay, therapeutic uses of vitamin D for multiple sclerosis and autoimmune disease. Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, Coimbra protocols explained. How is this possible? We're talking about vitamin D3. Is it toxic? And he explains that the toxicity doesn't really exist when you have K2. Coimbra protocol, vitamin D therapy for autoimmune disorders. Okay. So people have all of these here. The Coimbra protocol, breakthrough treatment for autoimmune disease. Integrative Rheumatology Clinic. That's their post. The #1 vitamin D deficiency in all autoimmune conditions. He's talking about vitamin D. Why is it that people aren't being told about this? The reason why is because there's no money in it. Reverse autoimmune disease with vitamin D. Now, let's just look at Herbal Results vitamin D. So you mean to tell me you're going through all this pain and suffering, people are dying, and they're taking all these medications, going through surgery, this and that, and here goes Herbal Results with a $30 bottle. You see it?
Yep.
This is it. Our vitamin D is very potent. 1,000 IUs per drop, $30. To help you solve the problem is vegan vitamin D3 plus vitamin K2. Okay? And then
the K2 is in that.
Yes, it's in it.
Ah.
Okay, and so this is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's $30. It lasts for a month. You take a full dropper every day. Okay, a full dropper will give you 50,000 IUs. So then you will take it with this product here, which is our magnesium, zinc, and selenium, because magnesium is necessary for the immune system as well. And it's the second biggest deficiency that people have behind vitamin D. And so what we did is we made a product that has magnesium, zinc, and selenium with no fillers, all in one. So when you take this, you're getting all of these. So those are two companion products that you just stated. They're $30 each. We use that to solve the problem. You can take the olive leaf extract to deal with any inflammation that might come from your autoimmune condition. But that's it, my brother. This is what we have people do at Herbal Results. We have them take the olive leaf, the vitamin D3 plus K2, the magnesium, zinc, and selenium. Instructions for all products are on our instructions page. You just go to instructions page. It tells you the dosages to take. And then the dietary recommendations and dietary restrictions of sugar and vegetable oils and these things that are inflammatory. And what we find is that we get these like results where people are like, I'm not sick anymore. You're not sick anymore because the underlying root cause of your problem has been addressed, which the medical system refuses to do. They're going to give you corticosteroids to combat your immune system from actually working at all. And so a lot of people who have lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, any of these autoimmune diseases, you will notice that they are sick all the time. And it is being blamed on their lupus, but it's actually the medication that they're taking. The medication that they're taking is suppressing their immune system.
Brother,
so now they don't have an
I gotta
immune
jump
system.
in real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I have a dear beloved loved one who's found out much later in her life that she has Sjogren. I think it's called Sjogren's.
That's an autoimmune disease, and it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, the vitamin D.
Yep, it's the same thing. We will step up her vitamin D, step up her magnesium, step up an anti-parasitic such as olive leaf extract or any other anti-parasitic that's black seed oil, which we don't make, but that's very good as an anti-parasitic. Neem oil is very good as an anti-parasitic. Turmeric is a good anti-parasitic. Ginger, garlic, those are good anti-parasitics. Artemisia nua is a good anti-parasitic. So you got to just take some anti-parasitics, and then you're going to step up your immune system with those two things, with vitamin D3 and K2 and magnesium. And then you're going to stop feeding your body foods that parasites like, which is sugar and refined carbohydrates. You cut that out, and now you're able to solve your problem for under $100. You see what I'm saying? Like, really, it's at $100. It's $100 because if you get the vitamin D3, that's $30. So let's just do the math because I want to be precise. The vitamin D3, our vitamin D3 plus K2 is $30. It will last you 1 month. Our magnesium, zinc, selenium is another $30. So now that's $60. That lasts you a month. And then the olive leaf extract is a $40 bottle. So that's 30 plus 30 plus 40. That's $100. And you're addressing this problem from a first principles approach. And I would just tell people, listen, you don't have to buy Herbal Results products. My point is for you to understand what's really going on with you. And anybody can, like, really, without your doctor, you can get a vitamin D3 test. And I'll show you how to do it. So there's a thing called Health Labs. Health Labs has agreements with all the labs around the country. So no matter where you are in the United States, you just go to Health Labs. I'm going to share this with you all. You can put in your zip code and all that, and you can see where you can get a vitamin D test. And so let's drill it all down. I can tell you right now, my vitamin D level, I just checked my vitamin D numbers, and my vitamin D numbers are at 180. Okay. And I feel great. You understand? This is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Health Labs. You don't need a doctor, permission, note, or anything. They're going to have one that's probably within 5 to 10 miles of your house. You see the website here?
Yes.
Healthlabs.com. Then you search for whatever test you want. This is the vitamin D test right here. You see it?
Yep.
It says vitamin D. This is the one you want, the calcidiol test, vitamin D 25 hydroxy. That's the one. Look at the price, $59. So you can get this, and you just put in your zip code, and it'll show you the closest place that you can go to your house. I have one that's like 3 miles from my house. I go and test my vitamin D levels, and I do tests. So I'll take my product and take high doses, and then see what my levels are, so I can see how quickly people can get their levels are. So with our product, if you have a vitamin D level of 30, we can typically get you to 150 within 30 days of taking a full dropper every day. Because I've done these tests on myself. So I can speak authoritatively about it. But it costs $59. There it is. To get this test, and you'll know what your vitamin D numbers are. And then you take your vitamin D supplement for a month or two, and you go get another test to see where your blood levels are, but you want it to be at 150. Your doctor is going to tell you that it should be at 100, but I'm telling you, based on the research, it should be at 150. Based on Dr. Harold Schell's research, based on the studies that I have, based on Dr. Tyehimba studies. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take 50,000 IUs a day with vitamin K2 and magnesium. Magnesium helps vitamin D absorb as well. So they're cofactors with each other. And you take that and you take it for a month, your levels should be where they should be. And then you maintain that level. You could take 10,000 IUs a day if you want. And the other thing that people should know about vitamin D is that they have studies that show that vitamin D actually reduces the degradation of telomere length of your chromosomes. Why is that important? Well, they found that telomere length, the telomeres are the ends of the chromosomes, and they are directly correlated with how long you're going to live.
Wow.
So the shorter they get, the closer you are to your death. The longer it gets, the more you're actually preserving your life. So longer telomeres are associated with long life, shorter ones are associated with short life. And well, guess what they found? They found that people supplementing with I think 10,000 IUs of vitamin D found that the degradation of the telomeres slowed down, and people were able to reverse their genetic age by 3 years within 1 month of taking 10,000 IUs.
You're making me think of something. Now, this is completely anecdotal. We might say oral history, but my grandfather died at about 97. And he would get up every day and he would walk to the neighborhood park, or he'd walk around the corner, do whatever he's doing. Really short walks, but he would always get out. And I say, Grandpa, why do you always walk every day like that? And he said that his I guess mother, father, told him that walking, being in the sun, preserves life and helps you live a longer life. So now we have actual science to that.
Right. Oh, he's absolutely right, because what it does is
that,
yes. And so, I can go right now, I can put in vitamin D in aging. Okay. And you're going to see the study that I'm talking about. You're going to see the study that talks about literally vitamin D reverses the aging. Okay. So let's go here. And this is easy. And I just want people to get used to doing this research on their own. You don't have.
Uh-oh. Brother got kicked out. So just to as he gets back in, just a few things. The vitamin D is very important, according to Brother Heru, for reversing. Oh, there he goes. Excellent. Is that kid? Very good, brother. I was trying to summarize what you were saying. Great.
No, it's accidentally clicked off. So I'm going to share the screen here. So when you do a Google search of just vitamin D in aging, look what you find. Are you able to see this?
Yep.
Okay. Look at what Google AI says. Recent studies have shown that vitamin D supplementation may help slow biological aging by protecting telomeres, which are linked to age-related diseases. Additionally, tailored vitamin D doses have been found to significantly reduce the risk of heart attacks in adults with heart disease. Okay? But if you start scrolling down, news, harvard.edu, vitamin D supplements may slow biological aging. Vitamin D supplements. This is the National Institute of Health. Vitamin D supplements may slow cellular aging. Okay? Groundbreaking studies reveal that vitamin D may slow biologic aging. Vitamin D may slow biological aging process. Here's how. It's all there. Okay?
Amazing.
And what I'm saying is that number one, it shows you that we have to have a better relationship with the sun. We're not outside like we used to be. We're locked inside in these offices because now we've got these things called jobs, right? People are working from home. People are not outside. People are not gardening. People are not farming. People are not engaged in any type of agricultural activities. That's why your grandparents who were coming from the South or they're coming from the Caribbean or whatever, they used to farm. They used to garden. They used to be outside. And lo and behold, your 80-year-old grandmother is much healthier than the 80-year-old that exists today.
That's a fact.
This is just the reality of the situation. And we're supposed to be getting better with time, with technology and all of that. But then why are people sicker than our grandparents were when they were in their 80s and 90s? It's because our grandparents were engaged in natural activities that were complementary to their health, which is one, not being sedentary, two, eating natural whole foods and not processed foods. So now you've got also nutritive inputs because the topsoil wasn't so eroded. And then they're outside all the time getting the sunlight. They're getting sunshine. Some of them would wake up at the crack of dawn, right? And they're out all day. And these people are not vitamin D deficient. Guess what happens to their children who are now, playing video games all day, or their grandchildren who are playing video games all day? They don't even go outside to play sports anymore. Then as an adult, they're not outside doing anything. They're not farming. They're not gardening because they go to the grocery stores and they just hop in their car and come right back home. There's no exposure to the sun. And like people keep a log, like how long have I been out in the sun? And when you're out in the sun, you're covered up most of the time, so you're not getting full skin penetration. So you see, these are the problems. Like people need to go to the beach more. People need to sunbathe more. People need to actually, and it's free, right? It's free. It's literally free. But they don't tell you the things that are free because most people communicating with you are trying to sell you something. They're, the medical system, they're trying to sell you pharmaceuticals, right? And then there's people in the supplement industry, and they're trying to sell you supplements. I always tell people, go get some sunlight. It's free. In the wintertime and all that, you can go get our supplements. Even you can get the supplements in the summertime, but I'm going to let people know that you can get the sun for free, right? 40 minutes out in the sun in your shorts, bare chested, will get you about 10,000 IUs of vitamin D per day as a Black person, someone melanated, you know what I mean? But if you want to step it up, you can take, Herbal Results supplements of vitamin D, take a full dropper. I mean, give you an example. I have it right here. This is the Herbal Results bottle here. And you just open it, you just take one full dropper, put it under your tongue, hold it for 30 seconds for sublingual absorption, and then you swallow it and you're done. That's 50,000 IUs in one fell swoop. And you do this for about a month and a half, it'll step your vitamin D levels by 120, 130 points.
Now, what if you don't have an autoimmune disease? Is this the type of thing where you should still consider taking vitamin D supplements?
Everyone should take it. I don't have any diseases and I take it. All the products I make, I take every day. That's why I can speak about it, because I take what I make. And I want to make sure that my vitamin D levels are optimum. I'm not going to wait till wait for me to get sick before I make changes or do what's optimum. See, the thing about health is that health is a daily affair. Health is not something you think about like when you get sick. It's just like almost like you don't wait to buy a fire. You don't wait for your house to catch on fire before you get a fire extinguisher. You have a fire extinguisher ready, right? So what we're doing is we're getting our health ready so that if there are any pandemics, viruses floating, we'll be able to fight it better. Because what they found out during the pandemic was And listen very carefully what I'm about to say, because I'm going to share you the study because it's on our website. They found out that COVID deaths could have theoretically been 0 if everyone just had a vitamin D level of 50 or higher. Can you believe
Wow.
that?
That's
And
crazy.
here's the thing, Heru, I don't believe you, right? Show me the study. So let me show you all the study. I'm going to go ahead and show you all the study. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our results, and what we do on the website is that we also put studies on the website so that people can empower themselves with information and how to move in this world. So we weren't told any of this information, but just check this out. You see where it says science, and you see vitamin D science?
Mm-hmm.
You scroll down, you see vitamin D and COVID, and then check this out. This is a study on the National Library of Medicine. You see that?
Yep.
PubMed. And look what they say. An official website of the United States government. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, check this out. This is a study from 2021, October, which was in the height of the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. Look what the title says. C19 mortality risk correlates inversely with vitamin D3 status, and a mortality rate close to 0 could theoretically be achieved at 50 nanograms per milliliter of vitamin D. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, this is what they're saying. They're saying, here it is right here. Conclusions. The data sets provide strong evidence. The data sets provide strong evidence that low D3 is a predictor rather than just a side effect of the infection. Despite ongoing vaccinations, we recommend raising serum vitamin D levels to above 50 nanograms per milliliter to prevent or mitigate new outbreaks due to escape mutations of discrete or decreasing antibody activity. So what they're saying is, but let's look at the definitive statement on the results. 1 population study and 7 clinical studies were identified which reported D3 blood levels pre-infection or on the day of hospital admission. So what they did was they took everyone's vitamin D levels the day that they were admitted for the illness. The 2 independent data tests showed a negative Pearson correlation. That's more statistics. Don't worry about that. Of D3 levels and mortality risk. What they're saying is the lower your vitamin D levels, the higher your mortality risk. And that's the negative correlation, what they call an inverse correlation, right? So they say for the combined data, median D3 levels were 23 nanograms per liter. So they were showing that the people who were getting this infection, the median D3 level was 23, well below 50. And a significant correlation was observed in regression, suggested a theoretical point of 0 mortality at approximately 50 nanograms per milliliter of D3. What they're saying is, based on the statistics and the studies that they showed, that if you could have just gotten everyone to 50 nanograms per milliliter, there would have been a theoretical point of 0 mortality.
Were they still pushing the COVID shots?
Yes. This was October 2021. They had just rolled it out.
That's very damning. I mean, those of us who know already know how this government gets down, but yeah, that's serious right there.
But people were not told about vitamin D, and the thing is that like it was very easy to do, man. You can get those levels up within like 15 days. You understand what I'm saying? Actually, within a week, you can get those levels up to 50. If you're at 20, you can get it to 50 within a week. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but people weren't told this, but I was doing lectures about it and telling people, but I was getting banned from different places. You know what I mean? Because I was telling people like, listen, this whole lockdown and they're keeping people inside, you need to be outside. They had elderly people locked down in nursing homes, not getting any sunshine. As a matter of fact, anyone who would have done a real cursory review of the last biggest viral pandemic, which was the Spanish flu, that killed so many people. Do you know that Spanish flu, it killed so many people in Philadelphia, and the hospitals were so full that they didn't have space for people. They had to set up triage units outside. But guess what they found out? The people that they had outside healed from Spanish flu, and the people inside did not heal because the people from outside were getting the sunlight. And that's how they actually started resolving the Spanish flu. They had people do sun therapy because the hospitals were too packed with people. The people who couldn't fit in the hospitals, they had them outside, and those people were recovering. They were like, what's the difference? What's going on? Sunlight. So this was known, my brother. So even they're talking about right now, there's some type of, flu going on that people are getting real sick. Mm-hmm. But they're not telling you, get some vitamin D. It's wintertime.
I'm taking a walk after this broadcast, even though there's no sun out.
yeah, but get you some vitamin D supplement.
Yeah, man.
And take that every day, because what it's going to do is going to protect you from any type of these problems. It helps you fight cancer. It helps you fight viruses, pathogens such as parasitic infections. It actually is the main nutrient to stop inflammation of the lungs. It's vitamin D. So now you've got an inflammatory lung infection disease, and you're not telling people to take the main nutrient that stops the inflammation of the lungs, which is vitamin D. Do you see? And then when you talk about autoimmune disease, it's the same thing. So I'm just giving people solutions, man, to like their problems that they can do in the comfort of their home. So if you got an autoimmune disease, there's a 4-step thing that you're going to do. You're going to cut out sugar. You can cut out vegetable oils. It's just like our cancer protocol. You can cut out sugar. You can cut out vegetable oils. You can cut out refined carbohydrates like rice, cookies, crackers, donuts, spaghetti. You're going to cut that out. Pasta. You can cut all that out. And then you're going to step up your immune system with vitamin D3, high dose D3 plus K2. What I mean by high dose is 50,000 IUs a day. And then you're going to also add magnesium, zinc, selenium. And then you're going to take an antiparasitic, 1, 2, 3, however many you want. You want to take ivermectin, fenbendazole, whatever. If you want to take natural ones, that's olive leaf extract, that's black seed oil, that's, Artemisia annua. So you take these things in conjunction and do it for at least 30 days and then see how you feel, and you can just thank me later.
Mm-hmm. That's something. One last question, brother. First of all, thank you again for the very important work that you are doing, and traveling all over the place, teaching people often for no charge. So that shows love, real love. I'm curious to know, the Queen is asking me to ask you, in terms of cystic lung disease, does vitamin D and olive extract, does that treat that as well?
Absolutely. I bet you if she has a cystic lung disease, my first question to her is, what's her vitamin D levels? See, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do, the cystic lung disease, she's got chronic inflammation of her lungs. So, and then, you can get these tumors as well, right? You can get cysts. So here's the deal. You can just put in vitamin D and lung inflammation, and you'll be surprised what you find. You'll find that vitamin D is absolutely necessary to reverse inflammation of the lungs. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can just look it up and just start looking at it. So what I would say to your wife, if that's what she is, see, like Oxford academic, I'm just looking at this right now. Like, watch this. I'm about to share this with you so you can see. She's dealing with this. They probably have her on several different drugs and what have you, and it's not working. They tell her she's going to have this for the rest of her life, but never really checked her vitamin D status. This is the Journal of Immunology. Do you see it?
I'm put it up now. Yeah, I see it now.
Oxford Academic, the Journal of Immunology. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see the title? Low vitamin D status is associated with inflammation in patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Mm. Wow.
Pulmonary just means lung disease, of which the cystic lung disease falls under. And if she doesn't know her vitamin D status, that means that she's been done a great disservice by her medical staff that didn't even check that. She should know. Like if she was dealing with the right people, she would know her vitamin D status like that, because she'd be checking it all the time to make sure that it's like at 150 or at least 100, what they say. You know what I mean? But like I said, I explained that it should be 150. It's too low. They want to keep it 100 because 150 is the magic number. And she can like start looking at it like, cystic lung disease, and just start doing your own research. Like cystic lung, I'm putting it right now, cystic lung disease and vitamin D. Let's see what comes up. Let me just check that. And you'll be surprised what you find. Okay. Look at what we find. And this is from AI, artificial intelligence. What it does is looking at all the different studies, and then it tells you a little synopsis of what these studies say. And she can do it herself, and she can look. Do you see it here?
I'll put it up now. Yes, I see it.
Cystic lung disease can be associated with vitamin D deficiency, which is common in patients with chronic lung conditions. Vitamin D may help reduce inflammation and improve lung function, making it important for those affected by cystic lung diseases. My question to your wife is, has she ever been told this? That's my question.
So. Yeah.
I mean, look at all of this. Look at all these studies that come up. The associations with vitamin D supplementation, cystic fibrosis, pulmonary fibrosis, and vitamin D. All of the studies, I mean, they just come up. So what I would advise to her is to literally go and deal with exactly what I'm talking about, and she can feel free to do the research that is necessary for her to feel comfortable. But I've just basically just passed the baton to her. This study right here, vitamin D and cystic fibrosis lung disease. I think that's the lung disease she's talking about. There's a study directly on it from a website called Bentham Science, and look what it's saying. Vitamin D and cystic fibrosis lung disease, and all the information is there. Okay, so what I would do.
Where did you say, Brother Heru, they can get the vitamin D test? You said there's a website.
Yeah, healthlabs.com.
Healthlabs.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, healthlabs.com. You go there, select the test you want, search for it, select it, and then put in your zip code. It'll tell you the one in your area, and you just pay for it. You select the one in your area, and you go there, and you take your test, and they have your results in less than 24 hours. Like that, just like that.
Excellent.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like these problems, when I talk to people, there's a couple things that happen. First, they can't believe what I'm saying is true. That's why because they can't believe that no one told them this before. And they go to these big institutions with all these, fancy buildings and machines. And so it makes you feel like these people know what they're doing. But the moment they tell you you're going to have this for the rest of your life, and you have to take this medication that has these severe side effects for the rest of your life, please understand that should be your last resort. Your first resort should be someone who's going to tell you that this problem can be solved. See, when they tell you that it can't be solved, you got to go to someone who says that it can be solved and has evidence of it through research or testimonials or what have you, because you want to solve the problem. You don't want to manage it. You want the problem to go away. And it won't go away as long as you're vitamin D deficient. If you don't deal with a first principles approach to health, you will always have the health problem, and you will just try to put Band-Aids over it. But over time, that Band-Aid gets rotten because these pharmaceuticals end up causing ancillary health problems, whether it be kidney failure, liver failure, all types of things that you don't even, if your wife was to name her medications, I could look at the medications, she could see the side effects, and she'd be horrified, because I know her doctors haven't gone over the full side effects of the medication they've given her. I know that for a fact. And the way you do it is you just go to drugs.com, put in the name of the medication, and put in side effects. And you'll see the name of the medication, and you put in long-term. You'll see long-term, serious, and short-term side effects. And then you click that, and you'll see all the side effects for the medication that you were never told about. I spend 80% of my time going over the side effects of people's pharmaceutical drugs, and they're completely outraged to find out that these medications has actually caused them to have kidney failure, and no one told them. So they're on dialysis and didn't know why. And it's the medication you're taking, So always, man, we're in the information age, and I just want people to be able to use their smartphones in a smart way. But the problem is that we're not taught how to do this, and this is the role that I play. Because I really shouldn't have to do this. I really shouldn't. I shouldn't have to do this, but it's necessary to be done because the medical establishment is incentivized to not solve your problem. Remember that behavior is driven by incentives. They are not incentivized. They are incentivized to keep you a customer forever. So you can keep paying them, and they bill you, and then they basically drain your wealth, because it's a form of wealth extraction when you're sick. Because even if you have insurance, they got some funny things called deductibles, and then they come up with a new thing called copay, which is basically another form of extracting money from you. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep doing it. Like, here's what you can expect from me. Just like Marcus Garvey said, like, there's certain things you can expect from Marcus Garvey. Even when he's dead, he'll come back in a whirlwind. What you can expect from me is I'm going to show you all the ways that you can heal yourself in the cheapest way possible and in the most permanent way possible. Because I'm not incentivized to keep you a customer and to be completely honest with you, my brother, I don't necessarily want to keep doing this. There are other things that I want to do. It's just that our people are lacking such information that I have to take most of my time to do this. I have other interests in life. I have to keep walking people through the damages that they've already suffered through prescription medications and attacking health and illnesses in the wrong way. Like, your doctors should be doing this.
That's right.
Like, the people tuned in right now, I can guarantee you that the people tuned in right now in the last hour have learned more in this last hour than they ever have talking to any of their doctors. And this should not be the case.
That's right.
Your doctors should be teaching you this stuff, should be having these conversations with you. They're the ones making the big money. Just to talk to them, you got to be they charging you $300. Your platform is providing this information for free. People should understand that, listen, I understand your platform. It's a politically based platform. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I love our people. I'm a Garveyite. I love our people. I just happen to understand what's going on with health, so I'm just sharing this with people. But this should become commonplace. This should be commonplace. And as you see, this is not difficult to understand. I explain it to you, and you understand it just like you were getting a PhD.
Yeah.
It's because all of us have an intelligence, a God-given intelligence, that if you just explain things correctly, you'll be able to understand it. The same thing follows for diabetes. The same thing follows for high blood pressure. The same thing follows for cancer. These things can be explained to an 8-year-old child. Then an 8-year-old child can understand, and we can solve these problems, man. And so it is what it is, man. You understand what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm happy to come on your show anytime, my brother. I'm glad you have this platform. Enough respect to you for having this platform, because you didn't have to do it. We're not here to get millions of views, even though everyone should be tuned into this. But what you're doing is you're leaving a fossil record, a digital fossil record of some of us who were on top of this thing.
That's right.
At this time. And that's what you're doing. You're leaving an archive for people to, whenever people are ready to get this information, they can get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so,
it.
I mean, you
man,
know, I just say
incredible.
salute to you, man. Salute to you for having this platform, bro.
Hey, brother, I'm like you, man. I'm amazed what you're saying about the healthcare is the same thing I say about education. I'm an educator. So I say the same thing. I'm telling adults who don't know the Bill of Rights for the first time, like, nah, bro. When they say in the movie, plead the fifth, that means the Fifth Amendment. And this is what it says. And they're like, oh. Right. So I'm like, yo, you graduated high school and you don't know that. That's not an indictment on them. That's the indictment on the miseducation system.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing you talking about, good brother. Same thing. Yeah, man. But listen, brother, appreciate you as always, man. And we got to figure out what we're gonna touch on next time. I think,
whatever you want to touch on, man.
Anything you just get this information out, man. And hopefully it's liberating, it's healing. Hopefully people gonna get it.
Yeah.
But we're doing our part by putting it out there, you know. Was there any last words you had, Brother Heru? Anything you wanted to say you didn't get a chance to say?
I mean, you know, just look, man, just go to herbalresults.net. We're solving problems every day. We're documenting it. Like, I think we're probably the only company that has these robust interviews with our customer base that have gotten reversals. I'm talking stage 4 cancer, all different types of cancer. Like, and I can say it authoritatively. People say, aren't you scared to talk like this? No, I'm not. Number one, if I know how to solve these problems, I kept it to myself, that would make me a pretty selfish person. Number two, all of my heroes were people who put their lives on the line for the benefit of people. So, like, you know, if you love Malcolm, you love Harriet Tubman, you love these people, then you need to follow their footsteps in the modern time that you're in. So it's like, I've got to share this information. I wouldn't feel right about myself without sharing this information. And then the other side of it too is it's like, it's actually easy. Like, once you understand health and illness from a first principles approach, it's very easy to solve these problems, man. Like, and like, a lot of people want to give me credit, and I can't take it because the research has been out there, it's just been ignored. So it's not like I'm coming up with a lot of these theories on my own and this and that. I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wait, this doesn't make any sense. This approach that they're using of, you got an autoimmune disease and now they're going to shut down your immune system and you end up dying of opportunistic infections. There's got to be a better way. You start looking at it and these problems become very easy to solve, man. And it's like, my job at this point is just creating a library of our successes. So that there's evidence that we are engaged in Kuji Chagalia in a serious way, and we're not just waiting for Kwanzaa to do it.
That's
that
right.
We live as we call it, Kwanzmatically. Every day we're engaged in some type of principle, whether it be collective, you know, economics, whether it's, you know, unity of this or creativity, Kumba, all them type of things, and purpose. And you understand what I'm saying? We're engaged in Kuji Chagalia because we can't depend on anyone else. And this doesn't just go for Black folks. Anybody that's living in a system that prioritizes profits over people, understand that the incentives are towards profit, not towards people. So you're left out of the loop, and your well-being is not taken as the first step. It's not like the most valuable thing is not you, is how much money can be extracted from you. And so I'm just fortunate. I don't do this for money. I make money, you know, buying and, you know, investing in stocks. And, you know, I take money from the financial system because I trade Forex and heavy metals and these types of things. And so like I could just be doing that, but I have to make these products. And I also know that African people got to manufacture everything that we need.
Boom.
So it's like I can't just, retreat to my mango orchard and have a great life, making money off of the stock market and everything and just being quiet when all this information is there and it just hasn't been organized and articulated in a way that people can actually understand and access. And so our job at Herbal Results, man, is to just document interviews with real people. Like recently, we just had a prostate cancer reversal. Film that, document that. I have a brain cancer reversal out of Boston that we'll be doing this week coming. It'll be online on our website. And we also have a multiple myeloma reversal from London that I just found out about like last week. It was a sister who contacted me months ago, and now they told her multiple myeloma, which is basically bone marrow cancer and a blood cancer. It's gone by using a first principles approach that I have outlined in my book, The Successful Eradication of Cancer Using Intracellular Parasite Theory. And this is what I'm saying is like people would think like, and a lot of people say to me like, how do you do all of these things and this and that? And I'm just telling you that like, I don't think I'm smarter than anybody else. I just think that I might have a little more focus. And I've just focused on these things, just like how people focus on sports. People focus on rap lyrics. People focus on celebrity news. I just focused on solving these problems. And so I use the same brain capacity that people have for like studying the relationship of Jay-Z, Beyonce, and P. Diddy. You get what I'm saying? So like we all can do this. And that's why when I'm talking to you, the funny thing is like when I'm talking to you, I can see it clicking in your mind because it just starts to make sense. And so like, if you just listen to me long enough, you'll be able to do exactly what I do. This is not any specialized priest class of knowledge. And most of this information is hidden right in plain sight.
And most of the information that you shared is on their website.
It's on the U.S. government website.
That's crazy.
All of it. Actually, in
my
book, all of the studies are from the U.S. government's website on how cancer is a parasitic disease. All of it is there. And it's like, I just compiled it. So it is what it is, man. If you got autoimmune disease, I told you the 3 steps to do it. If you missed it, just rewind the tape.
That's right.
I broke it down, I think, in a very thorough way. And just do what I'm saying for 30 days and then just thank me later. That's it. And you're able to do it from the comfort of your home. All the people we've gotten cancer reversals from stage 1 to stage 4, 60 days to live, all of these people got reversals from the comfort of their home.
Mama Dubwise asked, I want you to know, Mama Dubwise, once this is over, it's going to automatically record and you'll be able to go right here and see it, the recorded version. So it's not going anywhere, okay? All right.
Mama Dubwise, I like that name.
Yeah,
I like that name. She must be into reggae music, serious.
What do you a DJ too, Brother Heru?
Yeah, I'm a reggae selector. I have a sound system.
I thought you told me that.
Yeah, it's called Black Talawa Sounds,
All right, you got your hands in a few pots there, brother.
Oh, that's Sister Nzinga. Okay, I think it's Nzinga out of the DMV area. I believe she's a nurse. Is that you, Sister
Yep,
Nzinga?
she says it. Yep, Nzinga, Heru. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we just did a big fundraiser for Jamaica in the hurricane of the BB Tumi last week, man. We meet our goal and raised over $1,000 to send to Jamaica. Nice. And I DJ'd for about 7 hours. It's not really DJ Jamaica, we call it select. So I play roots reggae music, deep roots, Yeah, man. That's like the best music for our people because it focuses on Africa and like, it's a Garveyite music,
liberation.
Yeah, man. So that's what I gravitate. And to be completely honest with you, my brother, if that's what I could do full time, that's what I would do. If it was just up to me, I would just be a reggae selector. Like I would just travel the world playing reggae music for people. But there are other things that need to be done. I got to build factories, so I have to put that on pause. But it's all good.
Well, man, we appreciate you, good brother, in all those capacities. And maybe at another time when you come on, we could take a little bit and direct. I know you do stuff with trading, and I think you help people with that too. Is that right?
Yeah, so I have a website called herutrades.com, and it allows people to follow my trades. So they can just mimic my trades and win with me. It's called herutrades.com. And so, I post my trades, whether it's Forex, heavy metals like gold, silver, platinum, cryptocurrencies, or stock options. I just tell people, literally, this is my entry. Where I entry, these are the numbers I enter at. This is my stop loss. This is my take profit and all that. And people just copy it. And it's a subscription model where people subscribe weekly, monthly, or yearly subscription. And we all just make money together. So it's something I taught myself to do over some time. So I developed my own trading strategies and techniques. And so, that's what I do as well.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, but not in the way y'all think. I am blessed to be immensely wealthy, not money-wise yet, but the fact that I'm in touch, I either have a pool of friends, acquaintances, comrades that are really so brilliant and so in touch with the community. They're not selfish with their gifts. I really feel blessed to really know people like Brother Heru and so many great people that come on here on this channel, WUCUSU Empowerment, or my more overtly political channel, Harlem Liberation School, that are really, it just makes you step back and say, wow, man, it's some beautiful people doing wonderful work. And I for one, am very thankful. Just want to say that publicly. Definitely.
Yeah,
all right, my brother Heru, if there's nothing else to say, brother, we gonna call this a wrap.
All right.
Selector. We're gonna call this a wrap, Selector.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah,
and we'll catch up next month, family.
Yeah.
It's typically the last Tuesdays at 7. Okay? So tune in. It's not gonna start with tonight. Sister says thank you both. Thank you. Thank you as well. All right, my brother. Peace out, good brother. I'll catch up with you. Thanks again, man.
All right, man. Bless up.